The nights in Baiwei Lane are always as hot as the new year. The air is filled with various fragrances, spicy, sweet and sour, and scattered, and there is also the kind that can't be said to be able to arouse human scent. The small trunks on both sides of the alley were next to each other, with dim lights and steam coming out of the pot. The host shouted, and the guests came and slapped, and their mouths were filled with food, and they did not forget to comment on 2 sentences. This is the most famous food street in a metropolis in Huaxia. I heard that top chefs from all over the country gather here, and even the hidden food in the story is hidden deep in the alley. I, Lin Weiran, stood in this alley, but I didn't think there was anything good about it. On the contrary, I was in a bad mood, holding a broken rent urge to pay for it, and my brain was filled with children from the small restaurant left by my father. The store is called Lin Weiran. It is open in the corner of Baiwei Lane. The business was still acceptable, but since my father died of illness, I couldn't stand it alone, and I owe a lot of debts and the store closed. Now I can't afford to pay the rent, and I only have a few dozen dollars left on my body, and I can't afford to eat even the same evening meal. Weiran, why are you in a daze again? A familiar voice came from the side. I turned my head and saw that it was Zhou Xiaomi. She was wearing a skirt and holding a plate of mango glutinous rice balls that had just appeared in her hand, smiling like a sunny thing. Zhou Xiaomi is my childhood sweetheart. She grew up together. Her family opened a dessert store in Baiwei Lane, and the business is very popular. She was always like this, busy and sweating profusely, and did not forget to care about me. It's nothing, it's just, think about what to do next. I snatched my shoulders, making myself look as unhappy as possible, but I still couldn't hide my fatigue in the sound. Zhou Xiaomi stuffed the glutinous rice balls into my hand and said, "Eat some sweet ones first, and your brain will be bright. Don't always think about those troublesome things." Baiwei Xiang's 3-year Taste Bud Challenge is about to begin. If you don't try it, you may be able to turn over. Taste Bud Challenge, Baiwei Xiang's genre competition. It is said that it is only held every 3 years, and the chefs participating in the competition have to use their own dishes to conquer the customers' hearts. If you win, you can get the name of food street legend and get a mysterious prize. This kind of thing sounds like a fish in the night. How can I be qualified to participate if I can't even open a store? Come on, Xiaomi, I can't afford to buy even a pot like this now. What the challenge? Besides, that kind of competition is the dance platform of big chefs, and it has nothing to do with a little person like me. I took a bite of glutinous rice balls, and the sweetness of mango was melting in my mouth, but my mood was still not getting better. Zhou Xiaomi was displeased and said with her waist on her back, "Lin Weiran, why are you so unafraid? Your father was a famous chef in Baiwei Lane that year. I don't know how many people he has touched for his specialty home-cooked fish. You are his son, how could he give up just like this? Besides, the Taste Bud Challenge does not depend on the background, but only on the strength. How can you know if you don't try it?" She said it made me feel a little nervous, but it immediately fell apart. Power? I can't afford to buy even the most basic ingredients now, so what can I compare with others? Just as I was about to turn it back, I suddenly dinged in my brain, as if the phone received a message. But when I looked down, I found that the phone in my pocket had no static movements. I detected the appropriate host, and the Taste Bud Challenge system is starting. A mechanical sound echoed in my brain, which scared me almost dropped the glutinous rice balls on the ground. What's this thing? Have you heard it? The system has been successfully determined. Host, Lin Weiran. Initial ability, emotional cooking, by integrating personal emotions into the dishes, touching the taster's heart. Initial mission, participate in the first round of the Baiwei Lane Taste Brie Challenge, complete a dish that can awaken the memory of the guests. Mission bonus, basic fund of 5,000 yuan, the food can potentially unlock LV1, failure penalty, the system automatically resolves. I stood there in a hurry, with a bunch of questions in my brain. What is this? System? Emotional cooking? It sounds like a setting in a web game, but this sound is actually heard in my brain, not like a dream. Seeing that my expression was wrong, Zhou Xiaomi came over and asked, What's wrong? Why is her face so weird? I opened my mouth and didn't say anything. Tell her that there is a system in my brain? Can't she think I'm crazy? But this sound is too real, and the mission it says, to participate in the initial competition of the Taste Bud Challenge. Isn't this what Zhou Xiaomi just mentioned? It's nothing, maybe I'm a little tired. I just said perfunctorily and formed a group in my brain. What does the system mean by emotional cooking? There's also the mission bonus. 5,000 pieces are not a small number to me. If I can really get it, I can pay the rent first by raising the code. Seeing that I was absent-minded, Zhou Xiaomi didn't ask much, but patted me on the shoulder and said, "Then you go back and rest early, don't stay up late and think about it. Remember, the registration of Taste Bud Challenge is over the day after tomorrow, you can consider it." After she left, I stood alone at the entrance of the alley, and the mechanical sound was still there in my brain. I tried to ask in my heart, "Hey, system, are you there? What's going on? Hello, host." The Taste Bud Challenge system is designed to select chefs who can touch the soul with food. You have been selected as the candidate for this wheel. Please complete the initial mission to unlock more functions. The system's voice is cold and there is no emotion, but every word is so clear. I swallowed, still half believing and half doubting. But no matter whether this thing is true or not, I have no way to go now. Taste Buds Challenge and hear the excitement, but is it an opportunity? Besides, although I don't understand the emotional cooking that the system says, I don't know, but I think it's a bit like my father's cooking art that year. When he cooks, he always says that he has to make it hard to make people feel emotional. Thinking of this, I gritted my teeth and decided to try it. The first game of the Taste Bud Challenge is not spent, but I don't have anything to lose now. The next morning, I went to the event center in Baiwei Lane, which was the registration point for Taste Bud Challenge. The place is not big, but there are too many people like a vegetable market. The chefs are wearing various uniforms, some of whom are holding bulbs in their hands and are boring their specialty dishes. The atmosphere is so hot. I went to the registration window and filled out the form. The staff glanced at me and asked, "Are you participating in the competition independently or which store are you representing?" "Enjoy the competition independently." I answered with a slight silence in my heart. Most of the chefs in Baiwei Lane have their own stores or teams. Single guns like me are actually inconspicuous. The staff didn't say much, so they issued me a competition number card with first gamer Lin Weiran, edited number 087. I was holding the number card and felt both tight and excited. I always felt that this was a new beginning, but I was afraid that I would not even pass the first round. The rules of the first game are very simple. Each player has to make a dish. There are 50 customers on the field as the review committee. According to their response, the top 10 scores can enter the next round. It's not difficult to hear, but the problem is that I don't even have any ingredients to cook. The task of the system is to make a dish that can awaken the memory of customers, but I don't have a kitchen like this now. What should I do? Just as I was worried, the system's voice sounded again. I detected the host's dilemma, activated the novice's assistance, distributed a basic ingredient package, and used for a limited time. Please go to the designated location to get it. I was stunned, and a place immediately appeared in my brain, a small warehouse on the back street of Baiwei Lane. Although I still felt away, I still followed the prompts. The place was so skewed. There were not many people in the alley. There was a paper box at the entrance of the warehouse, which read Lin Weiran. I opened it and found that there were really ingredients in it, including chicken eggs, tomatoes, ginger and garlic, and a few fresh fish. Although it was not expensive, it was just a life-saving straw for me now. "System, how did you get this thing?" I couldn't help asking. Newbie support is automatically matched by the system, and the source does not require the host to ask. Please focus on the task. The system's answer was still so cold, but I had already had a lot of fun in my heart. With these things, I can at least make something similar. Back at the small and dilapidated house I rented, I began to figure out what to do. The system said that to wake up the customer's memory, it must be home-cooked dishes. After all, the deepest taste in my memory is often what I ate when I was a child. I remembered my father's specialty dish, home-cooked fish. The dish was simple and warm. Every time I ate it, I remembered the scene where my family ate around the table when I was a child. Maybe, is this what the system calls emotional cooking? I cleaned the fish, heated the oil, stir-fry the ginger and garlic, and then fry the fish until golden yellow on both sides, then add water to slowly burn it. When I was cooking, my brain was full of pictures of my father teaching me to cook. He always said, "Weiran, cooking is not just about filling my stomach, but about making people feel the taste in their hearts." I didn't understand at that time, but now I seem to understand it. After the fish was ready, I took a bite. The soup juice was delicious and the fish meat was tender and smooth, and it was indeed a familiar warmth. But I'm still not sure. Can this dish really motivate others? What is the effect of emotional cooking in the system? On the day of the competition, I went to the scene with my burned fish. The first competition venue is on the main street of Baiwei Lane, and a greenhouse is built with participants and popular visitors. My seat is at the very end. Next to it is a young chef, wearing a clean chef's uniform, with a sign hanging on his chest, writing "Jinjiao La Fang Jingwai." He glanced at me, curled his lips and said, "Yi, isn't this the closed Xiaodong family that Lin Weiran? Why are you here to be so popular now? What kind of fish can you have?" I felt a little confused, but I ignored him. I have heard of Zhengwai, a young chef who has risen in Baiwei Lane, has a spicy cuisine that has been passed down from generation to generation, and he has never been a pity in his mouth. I'm not in the mood to argue with him now, I just want to complete the competition well. After the customer review committee came to the market, my home-cooked fish looked inconspicuous, but the first aunt took a bite and her eyes turned red. She said in a low voice, "This taste is exactly the same as the fish my mother made back then. I haven't eaten it in many years," she said, her eyes full of thoughts. I was shocked. Could I think this is what the system calls wake memory? The reactions of the next few customers were similar. Some said they remembered their homes when they were young, and some said they had eaten the long-lasting warmth. Although not everyone is so moved that he loses his eyes, most people give him good scores. When he arrived at Jingwai, his spicy chicken attracted a lot of people as soon as he was served. It was fragrant and shiny, and the guests were sweating profusely. His score is obviously higher than mine, but I didn't care too much, and it was enough to pass the first game. After the competition ended, the results were announced, and I reluctantly entered the top 10, and Jingliai was the first place. He walked over, patted my shoulder, and smiled a little. "Lin Weiran, the energy is good, you can get into the first game. But the next round is not so simple, let's take a look." I didn't answer, and a fire broke out in my heart. The system's voice also responded at this time. The initial mission was completed and the bonus was being released. The basic fund of 5,000 yuan has arrived, and the ingredients can be unlocked. The next mission, our opponent is defeated in the duplicate game, and the bonus is to be determined. Looking at the 5,000 pieces that suddenly appeared on my phone, I felt a lot of trouble. What exactly is this system coming from? The Tastebuds challenge in Baiwei Lane seems to be much more complicated than I thought. In the few days after the first game, the popularity of Baiwei Lane has not diminished at all. Instead, the topic of Tastebuds challenge has become more and more popular, and there are arguments everywhere in the alley. Some people say that the level of the player in this competition is higher than in previous years, some people guess who can reach the end, and there is even a rumor that the Grand Master of Legends may appear in the later competition. I heard these comments and was both excited and frightened. In the first game, I just reluctantly tried to get into it, and the difficulty of the game must be greater. That night, I sat in the small and dilapidated house I rented, and the 5,000 blocks I had just arrived on my phone made me feel a little relaxed. I can pay the rent in total, and I can still buy some ingredients like the rest of the money. But what does the system mean by ingredient potential unlocking LV1? I still have a fog of water. I tried to ask the system in my heart, but it only replied coldly, "The host can explore the potential of food through cooking, and the specific effects need to be experienced by itself." So, it is equivalent to saying nothing. Just as I was thinking about how to prepare for the game, the door suddenly came and knocked on it. As soon as I opened the door, I found it was Zhou Xiaomi, holding a bag of baked cream cakes in my hand, and smiled like a flower. "Weiran, I heard that you have passed the first game. It's so bad. I specially made some desserts to give you a greeting," and then I talked about the competition. I let her in. The room was so small that she was free. She didn't bother to give up. She put the cake on the table and sat down and chatted. I heard the rules of the competition. This time, it's not only cooking, but also challenging customers. I heard that there will be particularly picky foodies on the evaluation committee, so you have to prepare mentally. Customer challenge? What does it mean? I bit the cake and asked. The sweetness of cream melted in my mouth, and my mood was getting better. That is, customers may make temporary requirements, such as making a low-salt dish, or using a specific ingredient, or even asking you to talk about the story behind the dishes. In short, the test is not only about cooking art, but also about adaptive ability. Zhou Xiaomi said in a straightforward manner, which obviously helped me do a lot of lessons. After hearing this, my heart sank. In the first game, I woke up the customer's memory by relying on home-cooking fish. But I was really not sure about this temporary requirement in the game. After all, I didn't have much experience in cooking, and the situation was even weaker. However, when Zhou Xiaomi looked at my eyebrows, he patted my shoulder again. "Don't worry, don't you have that? Emotional cooking? Isn't the effect of the first game very good? Besides, I can give you some advice. Let's practice together to change." When she mentioned emotional cooking, my heart moved. To put it, the reaction of the customers at the first game was indeed quite special. The feeling was not just because the food was delicious, but because the food seemed to be really bringing something that could touch people's hearts. Or maybe, the emotional cooking that the system calls is my killer? But the problem is that I haven't fully understood how to use this ability. Every time I cook, I feel like I'm catching the weather. "Xiaomi, thank you. You helped me so much. I really don't know how to give you." I slapped my head, a little embarrassed. "Stop this, who should we follow? Besides, if you really become a food street legend, I will also benefit from it, right?" She smiled and slapped her hand, and before leaving, she still slaps me to rest early. "Don't stay up all night." After she left, I sat alone at the table. My brain was full of competition. The new mission of the system is to defeat a rival. This goal sounds simple, but the chefs in Baiwei Lane are not fuel-efficient lights, especially Zheng Lai, who is ranked first in the first round and is extremely powerful, and he still can't go with me. How easy is it to talk about if you want to win him? In order to prepare for the competition, I decided to use the 5,000 pieces given by the system to buy some ingredients first and practice several more dishes. The next morning, I went to the market in Baiwei Lane, where there were fresh ingredients and many varieties. As I walked around, I found that the system said that the ingredient potential unlocking LV1 seems to have a little effect. When I picked up an ordinary tomato, a message suddenly appeared in my brain. "Ordinary tomato, potential, sweet and sour balance, suitable for cooking, can enhance the warmth of the dish." I was stunned for a moment. What is this? Can the ingredients be brought with you? I bought a few tomatoes half-believingly, picked some chicken and spices, and planned to try making a tomato-shaped chicken to see if this pour is really that amazing. When I got home, I cooked a pot as usual, and the flavor of the chicken and the sweet and sour taste of the tomato were perfectly combined. After a bite, I felt a warm feeling myself. Is this the pour that the system calls it? Can the ingredients produce extraordinary results? With this experience, I became more confident and spent the next few days practicing, trying to incorporate different emotions into it. For example, when I was making red meat, I recall the scene when my father made me a meal when I was a child. The meat was fat and not so tender. Even the neighboring neighbors came to the neighborhood and asked me when I opened the store. Although I haven't fully understood the door of emotional cooking, at least I know that this ability can really give the dishes a special taste. The competition arrived soon that day, and the venue was still the main street of Baiwei Lane, but it was more popular than in the first game, and the crowds around were almost blowing up the alley. There are only 20 chefs left in this competition, each with a small seat. There is also a large screen live broadcast of each player's operation process, and the atmosphere is very exciting. My position is still deviated, but this time Jinglai is next to me. As soon as he sees me, he sneered, "Lin Weiran, the first game is good, but no one will help you to suck your waist this time. I want to see what kind of beauty you can do." I ignored him and put the ingredients down with my head down, and my heart was a little bit furry. His position is filled with various chili and spices. Just looking at it, you know that he is still going to take the spicy route this time, and customers are probably attracted by his heavy taste again. And I prepare a dish of tomato chicken, which focuses on warmth and homely habits, hoping to motivate people with emotion. After the competition begins, the customer review committee will first taste freely and then make requests at any time. Sure enough, when the first round of free tasting was tasting, Jinglai's spicy fried beef was fried on the spot as soon as it was served. The customers were sweating profusely and said they had lost their money. The score was directly the first. Although several people say my tomato and chicken are delicious, the response is not as hot as his. Seeing that the first round score fell behind, I began to feel anxious. At this time, a middle-aged uncle walked up to my seat, glanced at my dish, and said, "Brother, have you heard that you can change dishes in this competition? I have been in high blood pressure recently and can't eat too much. Can I make me a low-salt version of the cherry chicken? The taste is still similar to that just now." My heart skipped a beat. This is what Zhou Xiaomi said about the customer challenge. The low-salt version is not difficult, but it will be irritating to keep the taste unchanged. After all, salt is the key to improving the flavor. Without salt, the dishes will easily become light. As he was hesitating, the system's voice suddenly sounded, "When the customer needs were detected, it is recommended to use the potential of the ingredients. The tomatoes are balanced with sweet and sourness, which can replace part of the salty flavor and enhance the taste. Suggestions for emotional integration, remind the warm scene and improve the therapeutic effect of the dishes." I was stunned. Why is the system so envious this time? Without thinking too much, I adjusted according to the prompts, increased the amount of tomatoes, and added a little more lemon juice to enhance the freshness while burning, and at the same time reduced the salt. When I was cooking, my brain was filled with pictures of my father who gave me soup when I was sick when I was a child. The warm feeling seemed to have melted into the pot. After the dish was finished, the uncle took a sip and his eyes lit up. "Hey, little brother, this taste is really good. There is less salt, but it doesn't seem light at all, but it feels comfortable to be unspeakable. I haven't eaten such a hearty dish for many years," he said, giving me a high score, and wrote the words "warm" on the evaluation list. With this opening, I should have been much more successful with the requests from several customers behind me. Some people want spicy versions, and some people ask for specific ingredients. I rely on the potential prompts and emotional integration of the system to solve it. Although the score still did not catch up with Jinglai, at least it was not too far away. The last hour of the game, a middle-aged man in gray clothes suddenly came to the scene. The scene was particularly strong and attracted a lot of attention when he stood there. He walked to every position and was savored, with no expression on his face, but he would write something with a low head. The host introduced that this is the weight level evaluation committee of Baiwei Lane, the mysterious foodie Tang Xian, whose evaluation can directly affect the final result. When Tang Qian walked to my position, I felt so nervous. He glanced at my tomato chicken, scooped a spoonful of soup with his hand, slurped it into a bite, and then closed his eyes, as if he had been savoring it for a few seconds. Then, he opened his eyes quietly and asked in a plain manner, "What's the story behind this dish?" I was stunned for a moment, but I didn't expect him to ask this. Thinking of the story of Zhou Xiaomi, I opened my mouth with my head. "This dish was taught by my dad. He used to cook chicken for me, especially when I was in a bad mood. I felt like I had no trouble when I ate this dish. When I cooked this dish, I wanted to convey that warm feeling to others. After listening to it, Tang Qian clicked the head, but didn't say anything bad, but just wrote a few books on the evaluation list. His expression still couldn't tell the joy, but I noticed that he gave me a higher score than I expected. Looking at Jinglai, Tang Xian gave his spicy stir-fried beef, and although he also gave him a high score, the commentary said, the taste is strong and the depth of emotions is insufficient, which made Jinglai's face difficult to see in an instant. After the game ended, the scores were announced and I was ranked 5th. Although I did not enter the top 3, I was at least stable and ranked next round. Jinglai was still the first place. When he walked over, his face was so dark that it could drip. Lin Weiran, don't be too proud too early. Tang Qian's commentator likes to be mysterious. I will let you know what real power is. I didn't answer, and a desire aroused in my heart. The system's voice also responded at this time, the competition mission is completed, and the opponent's goal is achieved. Awards, Emotional Cooking Advanced LV1, unlocking the new skill Memory Cobot, which allows tasters to share specific memory clips. Next mission, I won Tang Wang approval in the semifinals, and the award is to be determined. When I heard the words memory and chow, I was shocked. This ability sounded even more impressive than before. Let people share their memory? If this is used properly, can't you directly motivate the evaluation committee? But at the same time, I also realized that Tang Xian was absolutely not simple. He had very high requirements for the emotional depth of the dishes. It would probably be difficult for him to win his recognition in the half-finals. After the competition, Zhou Xiaomi came over to wish me, smiling so hard that she couldn't hold her mouth. Weiran, you can do it. Tang Qian's expression just now, although she didn't like you, the score is not low. Come on, I'm still waiting to see you decide the game. I smiled, but I was in a loss. The Taste Bud Challenge in Baiwei Lane is more and more like a scene that is not just a weight of a chef. Jinglai's enemies, Tang Ming's pickiness, and the pressure of the system's mission all made me feel that this road was more difficult than I thought. However, no matter what, I have to grit my teeth and suck it. After all, this was not only for myself, but also for the little flavor of the Lin family left by my father, for the taste that had once warmed countless people. In the following days, I began to study the new skill of memory and chow more seriously, trying to recall more specific memory clips while cooking to see if they can really affect the tasters. At the same time, I also heard that the semi-final venue would move to an old yard deep in Baiwei Lane. The place was related to the legend of the food street, and even the long-term style might appear. Thinking of this, I was both expectant and nervous, and I always felt that the next challenge would reveal more secrets of Baiwei Lane. After a few days of half-finals, the atmosphere in Baiwei Lane became even more intense. There were discussions everywhere in the alleys that could make the game and who could become a new food street legend. I stood in front of the window of my dilapidated house, looking at the dim road lights outside, and couldn't calm down at all. The system's new skill Memory Co-Fish sounds very good, but I tried it a few times, but I still haven't fully understood how to use it. Every time I cook, I try to recall some particularly profound memories, such as the scene of fishing with my father when I was a child, or the last meal I cooked with my mother before her death. However, after the food was ready, I felt that I had no special feelings, and I don't know if I could really let others share that memory. Weiran, why are you stupid here again? Zhou Xiaomi pushed in, holding a bag of cheese eggs that had just come out, and the fragrance was swelling. She has been running towards me these days, saying that she is afraid that my personal pressure will be too high, so she always has to find something to let me relax. It's nothing, I just want to decide what to do in the game. I took the egg and took a bite. The heavy smell of cheese melted in my mouth, which made my nervous nerves a little. I heard that the venue is in the old courtyard at the deepest point of Baiwei Lane. It is said that the place is the origin of Baiwei Lane. Even the final ingredients is related to that. Zhou Xiaomi sat next to me, her eyes were bright and flashy, and the long-term style in the story will really appear. He is the final evaluation committee of the game, called the King of Taste. If you can get his approval, it will really become a food street legend. I heard the name Changfeng countless times. The legend of Baiwei Lane said that his dishes can make people forget them after eating them. Some even said that his cooking can directly touch the soul. But at the same time, I also heard that he had a strange temper and was never merciless about him. It was extremely difficult to get his recognition. Xiaomi, do you think I can do it? I guess the big guy like Changfeng doesn't look down on a little guy like me. I snatched my head, and my heart was a little bit stupid. Stop this. You've been here for the first game, the duplicate game, the semi-final game? Besides, what do you have? Emotional cooking, and newly unblocked memory co-fish. These are your unique skills. No matter how bad your style is, it depends on whether your dishes are really capable. Zhou Xiaomi patted my shoulder, smiling like a little son, which always makes me feel less despair. After she left, I sat alone at the table, with all the battles in my brain. The system's mission is to win the Tastebuds challenge in the game and become a food street legend. It sounds simple, but there's also the guy Lin in his hands. He has been pushing me from the beginning to now, and he is so powerful that he is still very strong. He always speaks ruthlessly, saying that the game will let me get out in the end. With the ultimate praise from Chief Wind, I really have no idea. However, there is no way out now. The little flavor left by my father has turned down. If I don't cheer up again, I will probably not be able to lift my head. Thinking of this, I gritted my teeth and decided to put all my energy on the competition. Since the system gave me memory and co-fish, I had to use this trick to make a dish that can motivate everyone. Even if the guard is picky, he will not be able to find fault. In the next few days, I almost didn't sleep much. My brain was full of dishes and memory clips. I tried to recall every detail of my father teaching me to cook, especially when he made home-cooked fish. That dish was our signature and the most emotional dish I had. I decided to make this dish in the game, but it was not the ordinary version. Instead, I used memory combination to integrate the relationship between me and my father, so that those who tasted it not only tasted the taste, but also felt the warmth between the family. The day of the finals came, and the venue was indeed in an old yard at the deepest part of Baiwei Lane. The place is hidden in the alley, and no one comes at all. Outside the yard is covered with blue bricks and black tiles, and there is no sky inside. A large dance platform is set up in the center, and there are several antique cooking platforms around the world. There's a fragrance that cannot be described in the air, like the smell of old wood and triennial spices. The audience was filled with people, and there was a circle outside the alley and the atmosphere was very hot. There were only 5 contestants left, including Lin Weiran, and 3 other strong chefs. Each of them was well prepared with ingredients and tools. As soon as Lin Weiran saw me, I sneered, "Lin Weiran, you will be lucky if you come to this point. But today's competition is not something you can win by luck. I will let you know what the real gap is." I ignored him and put down my head to sort out my own things, and I felt a little tired in my heart. His seat is filled with various chili and rare spices, and it is estimated that he will take the spicy and heavy junction route again, so customers will definitely be attracted by his taste. And here I have very simple ingredients, just a few fresh fish, ginger and garlic, and some home-cooked ingredients, which look a bit inconspicuous. Before the competition began, the host introduced the review committee's performance. In addition to several regular gourmets and mysterious customers, Tang Xian, the final pressure was indeed the long-term trend. He was wearing a simple gray long shirt, gray hair and no expression on his face, but when he stood on the stage, the atmosphere in the whole yard changed, as if the air was solemn. When I heard this, I was shocked and confronted the elder Wind. This is too difficult. But at the same time, I also ignited a desire to fight. If I can really get to that point, it will be worth it even if I lose it. The competition officially begins. The rule is that each participant makes a dish that represents his own style. The evaluation committee and the on-site customers score together, and the person with the highest score will directly enter the final decision. The first round is free to fly, so I took out the prepared fish and started making home-cooked fish. Add oil to the hot pot, stir-fry the ginger and garlic, and fry the fish until golden yellow on both sides. Then add water and slowly burn it. I can complete these steps by closing my eyes. But this time, when I was cooking, my brain was full of my father's shadow. He taught me how to hold the knife. He smiled and said, "You should be careful when cooking." There was even a scene where our family of 3 ate around the table. Those warm memories came up like a tide, and even my nose felt a little sour. The sound of the system immediately echoed. I detected that the host's emotions were strong, the memory co-fishing skills were activated, and the effect of the dish was strengthening. I felt a stir in my heart. Although I didn't know what the specific effect was, at least I knew that this dish was not simple. After the dishes are ready, the soup juice is thick, the fish meat is tender and smooth, and the fragrance is fragrant. When I brought it to the review committee, Tang Han took the first bite. He closed his eyes, as if he had fallen into a certain reminiscence. After a few seconds, he opened his eyes with a little surprise in his language. "This taste has a long-lasting sense of familiarity, like something I ate when I was a child. Your dish is indeed a bit meaningful." His review made me feel relaxed, but there was no reaction on Chang Feng. He just scooped a spoonful of soup, sniffed it, then put down the spoon, and the face was still filled with a slurping expression, without saying anything in every sentence. My heart sank. Can I think he is not satisfied? The customer's reaction was very hot. Some people turned red after taking a bite, saying that they remembered the elderly at home, and some said that eating this dish seemed like they were back when they were young. When the score was announced, I actually got the second place, and the first place was Jing Wai. His fire beef rib exploded as soon as it was on the table. The spicy aroma made people unable to stop. The evaluation committee and customers both gave them super high scores. However, the second place was also in the end. I successfully made the final decision, standing in the center of the stage with Jing Wai, ready to meet the challenge of the chief winter. The host announced that the consultant will make a dish by himself. We have to compare it with him with our specialty dishes. The evaluation standard is no longer the taste, but whether the dishes can touch the heart. The Longshan walked onto the stage. Without any fancy ingredients, he took a few ordinary vegetables and a piece of tofu and acted slowly, as if he didn't take this game seriously. But when he started cooking, the whole yard was calm, and every movement of his life seemed magical. The sound of cutting vegetables, the steam in the pot, and even the fragrance in the air became different. His dish was prepared quickly, and it was a simple, clean-flavored tofu and vegetable soup. It looked inconspicuous, but after the review committee took a bite, his face changed completely. Tang Xian said in a low voice, "This soup seems to be able to see a person's whole life, with ups and downs in it." Even the customers couldn't say anything, and some even lost their eyes, as if they were touched the deepest memory. I was shocked. Is this the power of the long wind? His dishes are not just delicious, but they can make people feel the weight of life. In contrast, although my home-cooked fish has a memory of the fish, I always feel that it is a little worse than his dishes. When Jing Wai and I served, Jing Wai first served his fire beef rib. The spicy taste was still shocking, but after a bite of Chang Feng, he just slapped his head and said, "The taste is very strong, but there is something that can touch the soul." Jing Wai's face didn't look like it in an instant, and he obviously didn't expect that he would be denied so directly. When I arrived here, I brought up the newly made home fish. This time I integrated all the memories I could recall. Not only was my father's teaching, but I also held the loneliness of the shop after my mother passed away, and every moment I had been stalking in Baiwei Lane over the years. I hope this dish is not just warm, but can make people feel that no matter how hard life is, there is always something worth pursuing. The guard Chang Feng picked up the spoon, scooped a bite of the soup, and slowly slaughtered it. His expression still didn't change much, but this time, he took a few more sips, and even put a piece of fish meat in order to chew it carefully. After a few seconds, he finally opened his mouth and his voice was low. "This dish is thoughtful. You reminded me of some long-lasting things, the tastes that I thought I had forgotten a long time ago." Although he didn't talk much, my heart seemed to explode, and my hands began to shake. People like Chang Feng can say the word's heart is the biggest recognition, right? Tang Xian also pointed at this time and said, although Lin Weiran's dishes are not as technical as Master Gu, the depth of emotions has indeed touched me. When the final result was announced, the host announced that I won this challenge and became a new food street legend. Xinglai's face turned blue and turned away, while the chief Lin just glanced at me and said lightly, boy, the legend is not the end, but the beginning. The secret of Baiwei Lane is waiting for you to unravel it. I was stunned for a moment, not understanding what he meant, but the system's voice sounded, the final mission was completed, and the host Lin Weiran received the title of Food Street Legend. The prize, the ultimate food ingredient cable, was unblocked, and the system supported a comprehensive upgrade. Hidden mission development: explore the depths of Baiwei Lane and find the truth about the final food. When I heard this, I felt the food finally. Deep in Baiwei Lane? What is the secret that the consultant Chang Feng just told has something to do with this? After the competition, Zhou Xiaomi came up with me and hugged me with her first smile. Her eyes burst out, Weiran, you can do it. If your father knew about it, he would definitely be very proud. I smiled, not completely relaxed. Becoming a food street legend is indeed a great achievement, but the new mission of the system and the long-term style make me feel that this road is still far away. The smoke in Baiwei Lane is still old and the fragrance in the air is still so seductive. I, holding the old kitchen knife left by my father in my hand, stood in this alley, and I always felt that there would be a bigger challenge waiting for me next. That night, Baiwei Lane held a grand celebration for me. All the hosts in the alley came. Some people delivered wine, some people delivered vegetables, and some old customers came to shake hands with me, saying that my dishes made them feel like they had been in trouble for a long time. Seeing all this, my heart was so warm that I felt that the hardships of these years were not in vain. But just as the anniversary celebration was over, Tang Qian suddenly appeared in front of me. He was still in that mysterious image, saying in a low voice, Lin Weiran, congratulations. But there are some things you may not have prepared for. Finally, the ingredients are not simple things. The story behind it is much more complicated than you think. If you really want to know the truth, in 3 days, I will tell you something about it. I stood there in a daze, looking at his back as he turned away. A feeling of indescribableness emerged in my heart. What is the truth about the ingredients? The stone door behind the old yard? These things sound like a joke, and I always feel like I am walking step by step towards the deepest secret in Baiwei Lane.